So this is Baruch Fleischman here at the Tiguan Elevator Kollel, and the share yesterday was interrupted for technical reasons, and I'm hoping that a reboot of the whole system is going to work better, and if not, we'll worry about that when it comes. We had this idea here. It's just some basic ideas that he said yesterday. They're really important for us to know. He said, let me go back to the very beginning of this idea. Now, this, of course, we're learning Jewish astrology. It's great, a cosmic science, tremendous. I think it's a pioneering work for the English-speaking world. This story here, Jewish astrology. Now he said yesterday the basic model of the universe that in the Torah all the planets, constellations, and galaxies in our universe, are ready for this, are placed in the second palace of the heavens of the lowest world of Asiya action. Now, to understand this, we have to understand what the world of action is. That is our world. Now, we may be as we're going to see, maybe there's a possibility that our world is the lowest of the lowest of the lowest of the lowest, going 7 times downwards. But you also have the same Ashur, that's the world of Asiya. So the world of Asiya is a complete and total universe, which includes planets, stars, and the way beyond, galaxies, way beyond that. But it's also only in the physical plane. So to get to a higher world, it has to be a dimension which is not part of the world of action and constant movement. The world of Asiya of action, so now our universe, which is the world called the world of Asiya, the world of action, is divided into heaven and earth, and both are further subdivided into 7 subworlds each. And this is an important fact that you need to understand as far as the hidden science is concerned. Our world has 7 subworlds in it. And the world up above us, that is, we go upward into the sky, it has 7 worlds there too. The 7 subdivisions of the heaven, that heaven part of the world of Asiya, are known as palaces, which are hecholos, or firmaments. The second palace, now as you're going up from the earth and you're going to these rings that are around the world, he said you're going to the second palace firmament is called Rakia. That's its name. And its name it doesn't have to be translated into English. It's a name of the heaven. It's the second palace. And it is there that all of astrology is placed. So we understand that the light that comes from Hashem to us goes through this second palace. That's where it's manifest and revealed. So there are another 5 palaces above the Rakia level in the lowest world of Asiya. We are in the lowest world here. Ascending down their energies and above the world of Asiya, there are more spiritual worlds. There are less worlds that are less physical and have much more power. These are the world of formation, which we call in Hebrew the world of Yetzirah, the world of creation, which in Hebrew we call the world of Bria, and the world of emanation, which we call the world of Itzilus in Hebrew. So this chart of Adam Rishon factors in these primal energies flowing down from these higher palaces and worlds by including them in the zodiac. So we see in Adam Harishon's chart that corresponding to each sign, that is the 7th level, is a tribe and a specific jewel. So let's take a look at this, and this is going to turn it sideways because we're really talking here about this Yud K Vav K here, which is the basic name that is associated with the first man. So he says that after you go for the house of life, which is the beginning of everything, which is Aries, which is controlled by Mars, the power of Mars, then we find that there is also a tribe mentioned there, which is Reuven, and a specific stone. That's what he's talking about here, which is called a Odin. Now, let's come back to what Rabbi Yaakov Kronenberg is saying. We see in Adam Arishon's chart that is corresponding to each sign that the second level is a tribe and a specific jewel. The tribes come from Jacob, who had 12 sons. So we understand that. We know that, don't we? And each tribe is assigned a specific jewel. So Reuven, the first son of Jacob, and is connected to Aries and the jewel of the Odin, which is red in color. Why red? Red is the color of Mars. And Odin in Hebrew shares its root meaning with the word word Adam, man, the man, which is also Edom, which is also red. Taurus represents Shimon. And then there is Levi, and then there is Yehuda, etc. So if we look at these, and let's just look at the chart here real quickly, if we can, and we see over here that you have Hashem's name, and then you have the next combination, but here we have what? Reuven, then comes Shimon, if you could see it, and then comes Levi, and then comes Yehuda, etc., etc., etc. That's how it moves around the years. So you see the months. The beginning month is the month of springtime. That's the time of life. That's the time of Aries, the time of Reuven. So let's go on and try to learn some more about this. So he says the tribes come from Jacob, who had 12 sons, and each tribe is assigned a jewel. So Reuven, the first son of Jacob, is connected to Aries and the jewels of Odin, which is the same red in color like Mars. So it's a Martian sign. And Odin in Hebrew shares its root meaning with the Hebrew word Adom, which also means red. So he says Taurus represents Shimon. So then you go to the next house, which we mentioned before, is Shimon, and there is Levi, and then Yehuda, etc., and they all keep moving along. We will cover this third level of the tribes in future lessons and discuss the second approaches of associating Aries with either Reuben or the more accepted Yehuda. Now, I don't know what that's all about, but that's what he said. He said that sometimes the first house is considered to be the house of Yehuda. Is that what he means? We will cover this third level of the tribes in future lessons and discover the two approaches of associating Aries with either Reuben or the more accepted Yehuda. Believe it or not, I didn't know that. On a more simple level, Adam's chart reflects the important principle in Jewish astrology, which is that it all comes from God, and that you shouldn't think that the planets themselves make the decrees and run the world. Adam's chart distills these higher influences down to two major names of God. So we're saying that this is to tell you, and we'll look at it again once more. And those are the name Adni, which represents the fourth level, and the name Yud-Ke Vav-Ke, which represents the fifth level. So let's just look at it again. This is the chart of Adam Rishon, right here. So he calls this the fourth level or the fifth level. You call it, you count the way that you want, 1, 2, 3, 4. So he calls it the fourth level here in this chart. Is the name Adni, which is the name where we apply to Malchus. It's the name, that name. So he's saying that the light is going ultimately through this light, all the way through all of these, through the Reuven, or possibly Yehuda, which he mentioned, through Aries, into the house of life, also comes down to us. But he says, look up here at the top, then you see that it's also Yud-Ke Vav-Ke, like that. So the main light of the Ein Sof Baruch Hu is shining from nothingness through this name called Yud-Ke Vav-Ke, which shines into the name Adni, which is the Malchus concept, and also different combinations of how the letters explain, and then through the light of this particular prism, which is this stone, which is the color of red, Aries, and of course, I guess fire and red bring life. So let's come over here. We have just a little bit more to say. So he says, Aries with either Reuben or the more accepted Yehuda. On the fourth and fifth level of Adam's chart, we get into the permutations of God's names. And on a simple level, Adam Arishon's chart reflects the important principle in Jewish astrology, which is what? Is that it all comes from God, from Hashem. And that you shouldn't think that the planets themselves make the decrees and run the world. Adam's chart distills these higher influences down to two major names which we just looked at, which are the name Adni, which represents Malchus, and the name Yud-Kei Vav-Kei, which represents their Anpen, or the male force. He says these names are holy, so we never pronounce them outside very specific circumstances. So in other words, we don't pronounce this name Adni in the way that it is vocalized. He says some people say Ad Hashem. So, and also Yud-Kei Vav-Kei is also always pronounced as Hashem, a substitute name. These names are holy, so we never pronounce them outside very specific circumstances. For teaching purposes, we use similar sounding names, such as for Adni, we use the name Adnut, and for Yud-Kei Vav-Kei, we use the name Havaya Yud-Kei Vav-Kei. So that's the sheer second. This is I think now it's the third shear, because I had to end that last one a little short yesterday. So this is Baruch Fleischman. I'm here at the Tikkun Elevator. Kol Al. Thank you for listening.